This is the view from the most expensive NBA seat you can buy, and this is the cheapest. But does that really matter? Well, I'm bringing my dad and brother along to see if it's even possible anymore to have a good NBA experience with as little money as possible. We started out by going to our seats, and holy cow, it was a hike. It seemed like the stairs were never gonna stop. It also seemed like it was Christmas Eve because Santa was climbing to the roof. It was really the night before Thanksgiving, and the Denver Nuggets were playing the Utah Jazz in Utah. And to keep things interesting, Daniel and my dad are sitting away from me, so I can see if I can have a good time without them and with as little money as possible. Before we split off, we wanted to go watch the players warm up. And on our way down to the lower bowl, we saw the radio voice of the Utah Jazz, David Locke.
Love the show, David.
He just ignored me? Yes, he certainly did. Watching the players warm up before the game is something we've done ever since we were kids.
This is one of the first free things I can think of doing. I paid $12 to be up there, but they still let us down here. We'll take it.
One of the weirdest parts about playing in the NBA has to be people watching you warm up. You're straight up their zoo animal. It was now time to split off and see how good of an experience we can have with as little money as possible.
Try and make this experience a lot of fun. I have 3 objectives I'm going to try and do.
I'm going to try give high fives to 5 different strangers.
Now the people sitting next to me are Denver fans. I don't know how easy that's going to be.
I also have to find the cheapest item at the Jazz team store and buy it. And the last thing I have to do is find and buy the cheapest food at the arena.
I'm just hoping my experience looks a lot more fun than Daniel's does.
Time for some grub.
Daniel decided to start his experience looking for food.
I'm a hungry boy.
Alex bussin'. For just a sandwich? For the little nuggies? $9? Oh.
While Daniel was looking for food, I went up to my seat to just relax.
My legs are gonna be sore by the end of this video. That's a lot of stairs.
Oh my gosh. That looks heavenly. $17. $9 for a Minute Maid frozen. I'm gonna be walking out of here hungry. I'm supposed to be having fun cheap. That might not even be an option.
Definitely not the same view as when me and Daniel came earlier this year.
We went to 4 different levels of basketball. If you want to watch that video, it'll be linked in the description.
But it's still fun to just be here and feel the atmosphere.
All right, y'all, I'm taking a walk around. Got some tenders. I cannot find anything cheaper than $15, but I'm hungry. It's the only way I'll be happy. All I'm saying is ain't no way I'm one of those dudes who comes to a Jazz game, looks around for food, and picks a pretzel and beer. Ain't no way.
Daniel got a hot dog and fries. It cost him $16. It almost cost him $18.
Bro, you asking for a tip? Ain't no way.
Y'all, I know it was expensive, but this was by far the best bang for your buck.
With Daniel's food set, we were all in our seats watching pregame. Besides me, Nikola Jokic has the most interesting run I've ever seen. Dude was also getting the zoomies. The Jazz were doing a cool pregame, but it's kind of hard to get into when your team is this bad. The Jazz are struggling so much this year that this felt more like an away game for them than a home game. Markkanen, Clarkson, Collins, they were all out, so definitely didn't help our chances. The game just started, but let me know whose seat you'd rather watch from, mine or Daniel's.
Ball movement.
Surprisingly, the Utah Jazz started off the game really hot. They were getting blocks, and they were hitting tons of threes.
Out to Potter. Here comes Keontae again. Little Scott with a hot 3. George rises up once again.
Experiences are way more fun when you get out of your comfort zone. So even though the people next to me are Denver fans, I wanted to get up the courage and talk to them.
Are you all from Denver? Yeah. Sweet.
They're actually really nice people, but that doesn't make it any easier for me to give them a high five if their team scores. I mean, what am I gonna do? Try to give them a high five when we score?
When the game starts, I usually stop exploring, so I haven't seen the whole arena. I like to walk around the whole arena, see if there's anything I haven't seen before.
This is where they get you. I had my food, now I'm thirsty as crap. I regret not getting a drink. Now I'm gonna go spend some more money. Can't go through there. It was $7 for a tiny one, or $9 for a big one. So, spending money like crazy.
The Delta Center is also the main venue for a lot of the bands and musicians that come into town for concerts. So they had a ton of guitars on display from the artists that were actually signed. You might recognize a few of these names. Utah also has a huge cancer institute, so the Utah Jazz always support them every year with things like this. They even had old highlights playing for fans to watch as they were walking past. I came across this pop-up shop. They do all the custom jerseys, and if you buy one, you can get it by the end of the game.
No, we do it tonight.
Like literally tonight?
Yeah, so
okay,
you
cool.
get it within like 5 minutes.
So you don't have to wait for shipping or processing or anything like that. I've always wanted one, but the prices weren't quite in the budget.
That is a tempting option, but definitely not cheap. I don't feel like I've ever seen the Jazz arena this empty. It is so quiet. There's like no one here.
It was actually crazy. Maybe it's because it was the night before Thanksgiving, but it was totally empty. And while I was looking around, Daniel and my dad were watching this. To be fair, that would be stressful to shoot in front of that many fans. And I'm not sure what this was. Maybe it was like Deal or No Deal.
I miss so much from wandering around that I have to get a little bit of basketball in at least.
Even though I was standing, watching from the lower bowl is a totally different experience. You can actually tell if the ball's gonna go in, and the atmosphere down here is completely different. Well, maybe not completely different, but it totally depends on the game. Alright guys, you gotta rate this outfit from Jordan Clarkson for me. I don't know how I'm feeling about it. This is the guy who dresses like this.
Just to give you some perspective, here's Daniel and my dad.
I was standing next to an usher, and once again I wanted to get out of my comfort zone and talk to people. He'd been working there for about 10 years. It's gotten a lot busier since hockey started, but he gets the summer off. He was a cool guy to talk to.
I'm trying to talk to people. Anytime you get out of your comfort zone, it usually makes things a lot more fun.
I was still trying to find the cheapest thing at the Jazz game, and I came across a few team stores. This one is a pretty small one.
Just coming in here, I know this is not going to be the cheapest spot because it's all jerseys and shirts, and that's like 50 bucks a piece just for a shirt. For example, just this plain white tee, I bet it's going to be a lot.
Honestly, that's a lot better than I thought it would be.
Might be an option.
Bruh, $90?
You'll never catch me paying $90 for a pair of shorts. Next shop.
After that store, I came across the main team store. This was the biggest one in the whole arena. The Utah Jazz always have an item of the game that they put on discount. It was this cup and it was $15. I'm hoping we can go cheaper than that. After seeing the price on the shirts, I knew we weren't going to get cheaper than $15, but I still wanted to look around and see if there was anything that looked cool.
It's actually really nice coming this time because there's like no one in here.
This team store had everything you could imagine. They had the current players' jerseys.
One day I wish to have a closet like this.
And even the jerseys from past players and eras of basketball. That is officially the ugliest thing I've ever seen.
Realistically, the hats are going to be my best option for the cheapest thing here.
I was hoping for a Jazz hat, but they're usually about $30, which is obviously more expensive than that cup. But who knows, maybe we can find one. They had a ton of different designs. I'm not sure how I felt about them, but some were cool. Make a guess on this hat price right now.
$40.
So that wasn't an option.
I think this is actually a cool shirt. I'm sure it's going to be way out of our price range. $35.
I think I found the sweet spot. This is the stuff that I'd assume is going to be under $15. They had mugs, keychains, pins, stickers.
I finally found the cheapest thing that I've seen so far. $7 for this pin.
This one's $6. I actually think that's pretty cool. I've been wanting a decal for my car, so this might be perfect.
With that purchase, I was feeling pretty good about keeping it cheap.
Decal it is.
So far, I've only spent $18, and that includes my Jazz ticket.
I've pretty much seen everything down here before, so I'll make one more round on the upper level, and then I'll go back to my seat.
This is everything I was missing while checking out the arena. Yeah, it looks like they were missing more than I was.
That's what I need.
I was back to the upper level, and weirdly it was more packed up here than it was downstairs. And this is one team store that I've never come across before. I feel like they had cooler shirts and a good variety to choose from. Trying to use the water fountain was basically impossible, so I'm definitely going to have to find a drink later.
How am I supposed to drink when there's that big of a difference?
After exploring the whole arena, it was time to make it back to my seat.
Ready to see how far I have to walk?
Now that I'm back in my seat, here's some highlights and lowlights for you to enjoy with me.
Horrible rebounding. Our rebounding sucks.
It seemed like the Jazz had already lost all energy and desire to play. The fact that Jokic is running a fast break on you says you weren't hustling.
That was a rough first half.
Now that it's halftime, I was going to go back and link up with Daniel to try find myself the cheapest food. J-Dog's has some really good hot dogs, but it's going to be way too expensive for me, as you could tell with Daniel's. They had ice cream, burger restaurants, pizza restaurants. They had plenty of alcohol. They also had some really cool seating areas that you could go if you didn't want to eat in your seats.
Tomorrow's Thanksgiving, so I have to eat light. But one cup of ice cream was $11. It wasn't even a big cup, it was tiny.
I found a kiosk that I could look through all the different restaurants.
I mean, the fries are $6.
While looking through this, I found my golden option.
Look at this. $3 hot dog. What? $2 water bottle.
You're joking. I spent $17 on a hot dog and fries.
It was great knowing I could purchase a hot dog and water bottle for $5.
I would have much preferred a $3 hot dog than that actually hurt you.
They didn't have very good condiments though, and the hot dog was pretty small. I'm not complaining though. I'm not complaining.
This hot dog is tiny, but for that price, you can't beat it.
I spent $9 on this and I don't even get a refill. The lemonade was watered down.
Daniel poured his lemonade out, not realizing that the drinking fountain doesn't work.
Dude, it's still happening.
You motherfucker.
It is such a hike getting back up here. There's a chance it's gonna be like the Stars game, and that was the worst hot dog I've ever had.
By the look on our face, you can tell exactly what we thought. This is the moment for redemption.
I think this hot dog's gonna make me sick.
After washing that awful taste out of my mouth, it was time to watch some hoops. The Jazz still couldn't buy a bucket, and their defense was pretty much non-existent. Jamal didn't have to do anything tricky here, he basically walked to the basket. The Jazz did eventually heat up though. Surprisingly, this is about the loudest it got in the arena.
That's better.
I mean, I guess it's not surprising when your team is losing by 15 points, but you still think there'd be a better atmosphere. Never mind. I totally forgot Russell Westbrook and DeAndre Jordan are on the Denver Nuggets. When me and Daniel first started getting into basketball, these were two of our favorite players to watch because Lob City and the KD-Russell Westbrook duo was something to watch. So in a way, it was a dream come true, even with all the bricks and DeAndre Jordan getting blocked. We even got lucky and got a Russell Westbrook technical. While wandering up at the top of the arena, I found a place with a bunch of free food. Now this is clearly reserved for the people who paid for it.
Pretty sure we're not supposed to.
But I wanted to get a look and see if there was any chance I could get in there.
Those desserts look bussin'.
Yeah, the desserts are being good.
Looking back now, yeah, that doesn't look too great. We were now entering the fourth quarter, and if the opposing team misses 2 free throws, we get
Free chicken from Chick-fil-A.
So that's huge news. The fourth quarter didn't change much for the Jazz. They still weren't getting rebounds. They were turning it over. Just bad basketball. I've been thinking about giving high fives all game, but how am I supposed to give a high five when that happens? I'm not going to give a high five to the opponents. And frankly, the Jazz weren't playing good enough to get any high fives from fellow Jazz fans. So in all honesty, I didn't complete this challenge. But the Denver Nuggets were at the free throw line, and a special man in a turkey suit was there to get us Chick-fil-A. He only missed one, so we didn't get free Chick-fil-A, but I am grateful for that man. And speaking of, him and a special Santa Claus are in a dance-off. Tell me who wins, turkey or Santa? It seems like the dance-offs are some of the funniest things that happen at sporting events. Just go watch my baseball video. The Dodger dance-off was wild. The Jazz actually started playing well when the game was already decided. I have to be brutally honest. I really tried my best to make this the most fun experience possible, and it has been fun. But the truth is, you don't go to an NBA game to walk around and look at things. We came to an NBA game to watch an NBA game. And that means this view is not exactly ideal. And once you've had a lower bowl experience, it's really hard to watch a game from the nosebleeds. Literally nosebleeds. My dad had a nosebleed. That being said, if I was on a really tight budget and the choice was to go or not to go, I would go. When I came to Jazz games with my dad as a kid, that made my whole year. It didn't matter to me that I was sitting nosebleeds. The fact is I was there watching the game with my dad. So does the experience change if you keep it cheap? Yes. For you, but not for your kid. With that being said, I'm gonna go watch the game like the old days with my dad and brother. Yeah, one last thing. I appreciate all your support in 2024, and I hope you all have a very happy new year. And remember what matters most. You're a child of God.